Hi there. So one of the questions that I've been receiving lately, it's about management accounting. Students have been DMing me and sending me emails about how they can pass management accounting. Now, so I want to address that question in this short video. Now, what you need to understand is that the management accounting syllabus is really broad, really voluminous, contains a lot of things that you need to learn within a short possible time. That is, if you are planning of writing the exams in May 2019. But what you here have to understand is that there are key areas of the syllabus that you have to focus on to be able to increase your chances of passing the exams. Now, you see, my approach, if you followed my work for some time now, I love to talk about key areas. I love to talk about secret. I like to talk about the areas of focus because I don't want to spread my time. I don't want to learn unnecessary things, and I don't want you to do that as well. So if you want to pass the management accounting exams, then you need to follow how the exams is set. You need to follow what the examiner likes to set questions on. You need to find out what are the key areas that I need to focus on so that I spend less time on some areas. Now, as I said earlier, the syllabus is voluminous. It is in the line of that. That is why the Institute of Chartered Accountants has decided to split the subject into two, so that we have introduction to management accounting, then management accounting in level 2 under the new syllabus, which is taking effect in November 2019. So if you are going to write May 2018 management accounting, what are some of the things that you need to note and understand? Now, you see, the management accounting syllabus or the management accountant examination, in the exam, you are going to be positioned there doing two things. One, you're going to be making decisions as well as making recommendations. What do I mean by that? What it means is that there is going to be a theory question or a theory area that you're going to be answering as well as a calculation area. But as in every examination, there are core areas that you have to focus on. I believe that when it comes to management accounting, you need to start with accounting for material, accounting for labor, accounting for overheads. These are the three starting points, because the way you are able to, now before you treat this, you should treat first what we call cost classification, because if you understand cost classification properly, you know accounting for material, accounting for labor, accounting for overhead. Now these areas are voluminous, so you got to select it strategically, and that is why watching my video on YouTube on some of these areas or listening to my audio lectures on SoundCloud, sorry, will help you to understand these areas. So you do classification of costs, you do accounting for material, accounting for labor, accounting for overhead. These four topics are the bedrock, they are the fundamental. When you get these topics very well, then we can build upon it. So after you learn these four areas, understand them, understand the principles, understand the concepts, how we pay overheads, how we treat overheads, how we calculate the overhead absorption rate, how we classify costs, how we deal with step costs, how we use the high and low method in the determination of the total cost of a product or a service. Those concepts, once you understand those ones as the bedrock, then you now come to the profit statement. You see, definitely in each examination sitting, the examiner is going to ask you between 10 to 15 marks to prepare financial statement, or what we call the profit statement, using absorption costing, marginal costing, or activity-based costing. So from the understanding of these four things, the next thing you need to do is to look at profit statement. What are the principles underlining absorption costing? What are the principles underlining marginal costing? What are the principles underlining activity-based costing? So if you understand how you can prepare a profit statement, how you can determine the cost of a product from these three methods, which are used in allocating overheads or treatment of overheads, then you are going to be able to scale through in the exam. So once you can understand those four fundamentals, you come to the profit statement: activity-based costing, marginal costing, absorption costing. Definitely the examiner is going to set question on that. So if you want to increase your chances of passing the exams, then you need to understand the fundamentals of that the topic and the profit statement. Now, after you consider profit statement, there are Other topics that I classify under short-term decisions, even though they are all not under short-term decisions. These topics include certain things like limiting factor analysis. They include things such as break-even analysis. They include things such as issues in relation to what we talk about when we are dealing with shutdown decision, make or buy decision, further processing decision. So all of these things are short-term decision. So you want to position yourself and strategically study so that you're able to go through all of these short-term decisions. And when you are going through, as I always say, what is the principle? Because if we want to make a further processing decision, then we are going to be incurring the incremental cost to the incremental revenue. That is the principle. So irrespective of how the question is stated, how the question is framed, you are only looking for incremental cost and incremental revenue. That is a fundamental principle. If you're dealing with make or buy decision, then you're going to be looking at the cost of making the product, the marginal cost we incur in making the product, and then the cost of buying the product outside. And with that one, we can use the limiting factor analysis concept where we are dealing with break-even, contribution, or we are actually dealing with the cost of the product. So you need to understand the principles that are used in all of these short-term decision making. So that is one thing you need to understand. Then after you deal with that area of the syllabus, you come to budgeting and budgetary control. Certainly the examiner is going to set question on budgeting and budgetary control. It's an area that is both theory and calculation. So with the theory area, you talk about issues such as importance of budgeting, process of budgeting, types of budget. Then when it comes to the calculation aspect, you look at the various types of budget. We start with the sales budget, we come to the production budget, we come to the material budget, we come to the labor budget, we come to the cash budget, then we come to the budgeted income statement, and then the budgeted statement of financial position. So all of these things are under budgeting, and you're going to make sure that you understand how to treat various ideas, various principles, various concepts, various transactions under each of these things, because certainly the examiner is going to set questions on that. So from budgeting, you go to the junior brother of budgeting, and that is standard costing and variance analysis. Boom, that is my favorite area of the whole syllabus. So you make sure that you understand how to deal with standard costing, how to deal with variances, and the reasons for the variance. And it is not about chewing formulas, please. Learning standard costing and variance analysis is not about chewing formulas. It is about understanding the concepts that underline all of those variances. So you can head on to, if you're already on YouTube, you can check my video on variance analysis and watch that video, because it's going to help you to understand how to do variance analysis. Then from there, you go to performance measurement. This is where you talk about issues in relation to divisional performance measurement. You talk about the issues about transfer pricing. So you got to make sure that you understand all of these areas, because these are the things you need to focus on if you want to pass the management accounting. So I believe that if you look at these key areas, focus on them, understand the principles and the concepts that underline each of them, then you will be able to increase your chances of passing the examination. So I'll see you again some other time. Remember to comment below with any questions that you have, and I'll be touching on them maybe in the next video that I do.